ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। So all this time, for almost 38 verses, that is starting from the 5th or 6th verse, so for about 32 verses up till now, Bhagwan Shankaracharya has spent a lot of time and a number of verses in what is called as the Atma Deha Viveka or Sthula Sharira Atma Viveka. This is the first part of Atma Anatma Viveka that our scriptures try to talk about. Why is it so? It is because the tadatmyam or the entanglement or the identification with the sthula shariram is so much. For millions and millions of lives, as every jiva, whenever this jiva has come in the body of a living organism, then in every birth, I have considered myself to be body. The strong attachment, the strong identification that I'm the body, it's absolutely difficult. It's very difficult to unlearn that particular process. To get out of that particular thought process, the unlearning that we have to do to actually learn that I am the Atma. Before I learn or before I am sure that Aham Atma Asmi, Aham the Chaitanya Atma Asmi, before that I have to forget my wrong understanding and wrong identification with myself. Aham Shariraha Asmi, that I have to forget. How do I forget? I have to unlearn that I am the body. I have to unlearn that, yes, this body which I have been identified with all these years, all these janmas, now I'm not that. That is the first thing which is very surprising and which is very difficult to take. I may not even believe in the beginning when Vedanta tells me you're not the body. How can I not be the body? I see it so solidly and I see it as myself. I'm nothing but this body. How can Vedanta say, how can the Guru say, you are not this body? And therefore, a lot of explanation is less necessary, as a logical explanation first, because we are not going to accept the Vedantic pramana initially itself. Initially, I have to be told or made to understand logically that I'm not this body. And then only I can be made to understand the Vedanta pramana. So, the first teaching or the first step in Atma Anatma Viveka, the first step in trying to see what I am and what I am not. The first step is the disidentification with this Sthula Shariram. So that is why Bhagwan Shankaracharya has spent so much of time and so many verses giving a number of logical explanations. Logically saying that I'm the one who's constantly aware without changing, and this body is the constantly changing one. This body is the one which has all the vikaras, and I don't have any vikaras. I'm that one and the same consciousness from the time I have been, this body has been born in this life till now. It is one and the same which is perceiving all the changes that are taking place in the Jagat and also in the body. This is many made up of parts, whereas I, the Atma, is a single, indivisible, partless consciousness. All these things have been told to us from different angles, so repeatedly. And this repetition is necessary because of the subtlety of this knowledge, because of the subtlety of this Atma that we are talking about. This repetition is very, very important. And up till the 38th verse, we saw that this Sthula Sharira Atma Viveka, that is what I'm not the Sthula Shariram, but I'm the very observer consciousness of this Sthula Shariram. I'm not this constantly changing Sthula Shariram. I'm the constantly Nitya, never changing consciousness which is aware of this change that is happening in the Sthula Shariram. I am the Nitya Atma, Nitya Chaitanyam, and this body is this Anitya matter. This is constantly changing. I am the changeless consciousness. This body is an object of my perception, the Drishyam, whereas I am the Drik, the observer of this changing matter. The body is the Panchabhautika matter principle, whereas I am the spirit principle or consciousness principle without an iota of matter principle in me. This is totally a matter principle. I am the one without an iota of matter principle, pure consciousness. I am the one because of which this body is sentient, because of which this body is able to function as a single functioning unit. And not only logically, Bhagwan Shankaracharya gave even the pramanam or the proof from the Upanishads. He gave the proof from Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, from the Purusha Sukta. We have seen all that. We don't have to worry much about all these verses of the Upanishads and Purusha Sukta. Just to bring it to your familiarity, it is just that no text, no Acharya writes anything without giving a pramanam which is Vedanta pramanam for any Vedanta Prakarana Grantha. That is why even Lord Krishna gives in his teaching to Arjuna a number of pramanas from the Upanishads. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya, when he writes Bhashya to the Gita verses, he not only gives the pramanam from the other Upanishads also, but also from Mahabharata itself. So it is very necessary for any Prakarana Granthakara to give the appropriate Vedic references to support whatever contention or whatever he has explained so far. So that's what we saw in the up till the 38th verse. Now, why is it that Bhagwan Shankaracharya is only talking about Sthula Shariram? As we know, we have already studied that I am a composite of Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and Karana Shariram. If I am not the Sthula Shariram, then am I the Sukshma Shariram? Then am I the Karana Shariram? This doubt will come to me, isn't it? If Bhagwan Shankaracharya in 30 odd verses strongly denies or rejects that I am the Sthula Shariram, then what about Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram? Am I one of them? So in the next verse, in the 39th verse, Bhagwan Shankaracharya also negates that I, the Atma, is Sukshma Sharira. Atma is not the Sukshma Sharira. Also, iti the 39th verse talks about. But very funnily, very interestingly, there is only one verse. 39th is the only one verse where Bhagwan Shankaracharya says that I, the Atma, I am not the Sukshma Shariram also. Why? Because the same arguments that we used for the Sthula Shariram are given for the Sukshma Shariram also. It is just that the Sthula Shariram is the gross physical body, the anatomy as such, and the Sukshma Sharira is the physiology of the body, consisting of the five pranas, the five sense organs of perception, jnanendriyas, five sense organs of action or karmendriyas, and the instrument, the inner instrument or antakarana called the mind and the buddhi. And when you see in Tattva Bodha, etc., there are more verses given there to negate the identification of with Sukshma Sharira. Even in Atma Bodha, more verses are given. In Vivek Chudamani also, more verses are given. But the thing we have to understand is here, Bhagwan Shankaracharya does not want to spend more verses on Sukshma Shariram because whatever logic he used for Sthula Sharira Atma Viveka, the same logic and the same Veda Pramanas, Vedanta Pramanas stand for Sukshma Sharira Atma Viveka also. Therefore, now let us go to the 39th verse. What does he say here in the 39th verse? Lingam chaneka samyuktam chalam drishyam vikari cha avyapakam asadrupam katham syat pumanayam. A little change. Tat katham syat dehakaha puman was talked about in the Sthula Sharira in the last, line of every verse, the second line of every verse. But here it ends with kat tat katham syat puman ayam. How can you be the Sukshma Sharira? How can any one of the jivas, any one or any Sukshma Sharira of any jiva be the Atman? Why? He says, Lingam cha aneka sanyuktam. Now, what is the meaning of Lingam? Sukshma Sharira is also called as Linga Sharira. Lingam means it stands for Sukshma Sharira. Why is it called as Lingam? As long as the Sukshma Sharira is there within this Sthula Shariram, there is an indication of life, isn't it? What happens at this time of death? Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, Viyoga takes place. When the Sukshma Sharira leaves this body at the time of death, what happens? The Sthula Sharira is dead. It is already Jada, but because of the Sukshma Shariram, through which the Atma Chaitanyam is transferred to the Sthula Shariram, this Sthula Shariram was as though sentient, as though conscious. But when this Sukshma Sharira medium through which this body gets the sentience from Atma, when this Sukshma Shariram leaves the body, then this body, which was Jada, which is Jada, shows itself to be really Jada. It's almost like a rock, it's almost like a log of wood. Therefore, What is it that indicates the presence of life in a jiva? It is the Sukshma Sharira. Therefore, it is the lingam. Anything which indicates is called as lingam. Lingam is the indicator. For example, sannyasa lingani. An ochre robe and a danda are the linga of a sannyasi. Okay, so we have so many things or so many ways of conveying to others, indicating to others about something. So when you indicate something through a particular thing, it is called as the lingam, an indicator to indicate something. So Sukshma Shariram is called as the Linga Shariram also because Linga Shariram indicates the presence of life in a jiva, that the jiva is alive. So here he says, Lingancha. Lingancha means the Sukshma Sharira also. Aneka Samyuktam, like Sthula Sharira, the Linga Sharira or the Sukshma Sharira also is Aneka Sanyuktam. Sayuktam means what? Put together. It is a composite, like the physical body we already saw. It is put together. There are various parts. The physical body is a composite, it's an elemental a composite of matter principle. There is liquid in this body, Sthula Sharira. There are semi liquids in this body. There are solid tissues in the body, isn't it? It's a composite, Panchabhautika or elemental Sthula Sharira, which is a composite of many parts put together. Whereas Atma is Ekam, whereas, and it's also called Asamhatam. Atma is Ekam, Asamhatam, one partless which is not put together. Whereas what is the body, Sthula Shariram? Aneka Sanyuktam. Similarly, Sukshma Shariram is also Aneka Sanyuktam. Why? We already know from Tattva Bodha that the Sukshma Sharira has 19 parts, isn't it? What are the 19 parts? Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas, Antakaranam with its fourfold functions, Manaha, Buddhihi, Ahankara, Chittaha. So 19 components, isn't it? So there are 19 components in the Sukshma Shariram. Therefore, it is Aneka Samyuktam. Chalam. Chalam means what? It is always restless and moving. Sukshma Shariram is not in one place. Maybe my physical body may be lazy and I may remain in one place. But my eyes are hovering here and there. My ears are looking for some sound here and there, isn't it? I'm dying to speak to somebody. All the time I want to speak. My eyes are looking at something, anything outside on my mobile or TV or whatever, is always wanting to move from one object to the other. Mind, at least, you know very well. It is all the time moving, probably faster than wind, it is moving. So it is said that Aneka Sanyuktam Chalam, constantly in movement. Constantly in movement. All the 19 parts of the Sukshma Shariram are constantly in movement. Though they are present inside the physical body, even though the physical body may be not doing anything, the Sukshma Shariram is constantly involved, constantly moving. Then Drishyam, it is also an object of my observation. What is the meaning of this object of my observation? I am aware of my sense organs functioning, isn't it? I am aware of my eyes when they see clearly. I am aware of my eyes when they don't see clearly. Similarly, all the sense organs, isn't it? I am aware when there are emotions in my mind. Now there is sadness. Now there is happiness. Now there is disturbance, correct? I'm able to see them clearly. I'm aware of all the emotions. I'm aware of the confusions in me. That's why I say I am confused. I'm not confused, it's the mind which is confused. Then I say I'm not able to think properly today. It's the buddhi which is not able to think properly. Some of the days this buddhi is very active, very sharp. Some of the days this buddhi is little manda. So there is a constant movement which is visible to me. All the 10 organs of perception and action, all the five pranas, and the four-fold functions of the antakarana are all available for me as drishyam. I can see them, I can perceive them, I can understand them. Therefore, the Sukshma Shariram is also an object of my perception. It is the Drishyam, whereas I am the Drik. Vikari, next word. Vikari cha, constantly changing, isn't it? 10 years back, I did not require these specs. Now I need the specs even to see the screen in front of me. I can't see clearly unless I use the specs. Maybe tomorrow my number may go up. So constantly changing. My ears are becoming deafer and deafer day by day. My mind is not clearly thinking, forgetting most of the time. So constantly changing. There's constant vikara, which also I am aware of. So it is anekam, anekasamyuktam, chalam, constantly moving, drishyam, it's an object of my perception, all the 19 parts. All the 19 aspects of the Sukshma Sharira are available to me for understanding. Therefore, they are all drishyam. Avyapakam. Avyapakam means what? They are limited. They are not occupying everything. They are not pervasive everywhere. They are only minimally pervasive. Avyapakam. How far can my eyes see? There's a distance to which they can see. How far can I hear? Again, from how far can I smell? How far can I reach out by my hand? How far can I walk with my feet? So, therefore, avyapakam. This entire Sukshma Sharira has its own limitation and range, and therefore it is not something which is vyapyam, vyapakam, sarvalokanam. We saw where in the Shantipata or Mangalacharana shloka we saw vyapakam sarvalokanam. We also saw sarvagatam. So Vyapakam or Vyapyam means Sarvagatam, all pervasive. Sukshma Sharira is not all pervasive. Sthula Sharira is also not all pervasive. Just like Sthula Sharira, the Sukshma Sharira is also Desha, Kala, Vastu, Parichinnam. Limited by space, limited by time, limited by other objects. Therefore, it is limited. Asadrupam. Asadrupam. Why? Because it's constantly changing. That which constantly changes, that which is not in next moment what it is now, that is what is called as Asadrupam. It has no existence of its own. The Sukshma Shariram also depends upon its existence. On what? On me, the Chaitanyam Atma. Therefore, he says here, this much is enough, Bhagwan thinks, because already all these things have been explained many times with regard to Sthula Shariram. And similarly, Sukshma Shariram, the only difference is I don't see it directly. Other people also can't see it directly, but at the same time, it is well perceivable by me. I know what I'm thinking, others do not know what I'm thinking. Correct? What is my next course of action plan? I know, others do not know. So it may be less perceivable by others, but very well perceived by me. Therefore, there is no difference between the Sthula Shariram and the Sukshma Shariram, and therefore, Katham Syat Puman Ayam. How can you be this Sukshma Shariram? You cannot be the Sthula Shariram. You cannot be the Sukshma Shariram. The Sthula Sukshma Sharirani are what they are because they borrow existence from you, the Atma. Therefore, you are not. How can you be the Sukshma Shariram? With this, Bhagwan Shankaracharya concludes the Deha Atma Viveka. I'm sure many of you are thinking, what about Karana Shariram? Karana Shariram is the Bijam or the Karanam, and Karyam or the products are the Sukshma Shariram and Sthula Shariram. When the Sthula Sukshma Shariras have been denied that you are not Sthula Shariram and not Sukshma Shariram, the Karana Shariram also I cannot be. By extension of the same logic, I am not the Karana Shariram. Other texts like Vivek Chudamani and all will talk about Avidya, Maya, and also tell you that you are not the Karana Shariram. And therefore, there is considerable pramanam for this from the Upanishads also, saying that Sthula Sukshma Karana Vyatirikta Atma. So when Sthula and Sukshma are explained to be, you are not them, this is how it is explained, then Karana Shariram also is included in them. Therefore, he concludes that in the 40th verse, this whole discussion about Sharira Atma Viveka, Anatma Sharira and Atma Viveka, he discusses. He ends this discussion in the 40th verse. And what does he say? Yeham dehadvayadanyah Atma Purusha Ishvaraha Sarvatma Sarvarupascha Sarvatitoham Avyayah. Yevam, in this way, Dehadvayad Anyaha Atma. Dehadvayad, Sthula, Sukshma, Sharirat, Anyaha Atma. And we have to include Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharirat, Anyaha Atma. This Atma is, what is it called as this Atma? Purushaha Ishvaraha. Called as Purushaha Ishvaraha. Purushaha means what? The consciousness principle. The Chaitanya Swarupam, which is there in every living body. The existence principle, which is there in every living jiva and non-living objects also. So therefore, it is called as Purushaha. Purushaha means Purishete, that consciousness which is available as the indweller of all the bodies. Purushaha. Purayati sarvam iti Purushaha. That which pervades everything and lends existence and consciousness to the whole universe of names and forms. Therefore, it is called as Purushaha. And what is that Purushaha? Ishvaraha. This we call as Ishvara. See here, almost a Mahavakya is being brought in. Purushaha Ishvaraha. This Atma is Purushaha or Ishvaraha. Sarvatma. Second line, Sarvatma. It is the Atma or it is the content of everything, Sarvatma. It is the ultimate nature of everything. It is the Swarupam of everything, Sarvatma. Sarvarupascha. It is the very content of all the names and forms. All the names and forms are nothing but manifestations of this Atma. Sarvatitaha, that which is beyond everything, that which is not afflicted or affected by anything. Though this Atma, Purushaha, Ishvara is everywhere, though it is immanent in everything in this world, it is transcending all that it fills in. It is not affected by anything. Like light is occupying this whole, sunlight is occupying this whole place, but it's not getting afflicted by anything it lights up. It is imminent, but it is also transcendent of all that it lights up. The space is giving avakasham for everything to exist in it. It's immanent in everything, but it is transcendent of everything because it's not getting affected by any of the things to which it gives an avakasha to be. Similarly, it is sarvatitaha. And what is that Atma? Aham avyayaha. I am that imperishable consciousness. This is a Mahavakya, isn't it? Atma Purushaha Ishvaraha, he said, that Atma, that Purushaha, that Ishvara, which is Sarvatma, Sarva Rupascha, that which is in every name and form, that which is Sarvatitaha, that which is, transcending everything, that Atma, Aham, I am that Atma. And I am Avyayaha. I am imperishable. I am immortal. I am infinite. I am all the time there. Therefore, this is Mahavakyam, isn't it? That's why there is one Mahavakya called Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is Brahma. This Atma, I, the Atma, is Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. So he says here, Sarvatito Aham Avyayaha. With this, we have completed this a small aspect of Atma Anatma Viveka. Now the next discussion starts about. Now, this is I have to give you a little bit of introduction to this, otherwise it becomes difficult to understand. Okay, Bhagwan Shankara, you told me that, okay, all the Upanishads, hey Shastra, hey Guru, you told me that there is an Atma, there is an Anatma. Body and the names and forms called the world is Anatma. That which is the content of this body, the consciousness principle, the existence principle is Atma. All right, I now understand. But then, so many times you say that this Atma is Ekaha Paraha. This is only one thing. Ekameva Advitiyaha. There are no two things. There are no many things. There is only one thing you say. That's what you say, that all the Upanishads are talking about Ekam Param. That which is the only truth. That which is the only Satyam. That which is one and only. Ekameva Advitiya Atma iti. You say that there is only one thing. But now you are telling me there are two things. There is one Atma and there is one Anatma. Then how can you say that there is only one thing Atma? Ekameva paraha sthitaha. We saw that earlier. How can you say Ekameva? Ekam eva. One and only. Advitiya. Without a second one, you say that. How can you say that? You yourself are telling me that there is Atma and Anatma. Now, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, as per the Upanishad, wants to talk about what is the nature of Anatma. Is Anatma a second reality? Or is Anatma just an experienced reality? Is Atma as real? Is Anatma as real as Atma? When you see two things, when you say Atma, Anatma, I, the consciousness is Atma, this body is Anatma. Okay, I've understood that. then what is the status of this body? Is it as real as the Atma? Or if not, then what is it? So, what is the nature of this Anatma? What is the status of this Anatma? And our Upanishads in detail tell us that Anatma is a perceived fact, it is a drishyam, it is vikari, it is anekam, it has no independent existence of its own. Therefore, all anatma is only an experiential reality. It is a temporary reality. It is not the ultimate truth. Okay? So, what are the examples we can give for that? It is there, it is experienced by me, but it is not real. It is not the ultimate reality. It's only a temporary reality. But I'm experiencing it. I cannot say it is not there, it is solidly experienced by me. This body is solidly experienced by me, and I'm troubled more often than not by this body. How can I say that this body is not the truth? Yes, it is the truth, but what kind of a truth is it? What kind of a reality is it? What kind of a reality is this Jagat with its names and forms? This Jagat has such a powerful capacity to affect me, make me happy, make me sad, make me commit suicide, make me do so many stupid things. But then, is it not real? Is this body not real? Then how can you say Ekameva Advitiya Atma? Therefore, here all our scriptures say, yes, temporarily we bring down the entire universe of multiple things into two. One is what is called as Atma, the other is Anatma. And in the next step, our scriptures tell us that Anatma is only an experiential reality. It is a temporary reality. It is ephemeral reality. It is not the absolute reality. We have seen this in so many instances in our daily lives, isn't it? We see a reflection of ourselves in the mirror. There is an experience of a reflection. Do you say it is there? Yes, when I'm looking at the mirror, it is there. Does it have its own existence? Can it appear without me being in front of the mirror? No, it has no existence of its own. Is the reflection there constantly, even when I move away from the mirror? No, it's not there. So, what is that reflection? If you say it is there, it is not there. If you say it is not there at the time of experiencing it, it is there. Right? So, such a thing which is there but really not there appears to be there even though when it is really not there. Such a thing is called as mithya. So, this whole jagat is mithya, vyavaharika satyam. It is a satyam, no doubt, but of a lower order of reality. It is less satyam than Atma, which is the Paramarthika Satyam, the only Satyam. The absolute truth is nothing but this Atma. All the rest that we see is merely an experiential reality. I gave you one example of the reflection in the mirror. Mirage water, correct? We see the mirage water. It is there, experienced. Is it really there? No, it is not there. Do you say it is not there? It is there. So many animals are running after it because they see that. But is it really there? Not there. A blue sky. I experience a blue sky. Is it a reality? No, it is not there. So blue sky is what? A mithya. The sky looks as if it's a big dome, as if it's a big dome, blue dome. Is it really a covering on the earth? Is there a cover like the sky? It appears like that. That's the appearing reality, really speaking, not there. I say sunrise, sunset. I experience every day of my life sunrise. And I post all the muhurtas and everything depending on sunrise. I do so many of my karmas depending upon the sunrise time. Sunset, same thing. So, sunrise and sunset experience solidly all our lives. All our vyavaharas start with sunrise and sunset. But is it really there? No. In reality, it is not there. The earth is looking flat. That is an experiential reality. But what is the reality? It's not flat, it is round. The earth is stationary. We feel we are here only for last 60 years. I'm staying here. Nothing has moved from here. But no, the earth is moving at a frantic speed around its own axis, around the sun. But do I feel that? No. What is my experience? Stationary earth. What is the absolute reality? A moving earth. Take our dream for that matter. The dream is there, very real at the time of dreaming. But when I wake up, where is the dream? It is not there. So is the dream there or not there? It is there, but really not there. It is really not there, but sometimes it is there. Similarly, this body is there during Jagrata Avastha. This whole world is there during my waking hours. When I go into my dream state, this world also disappears. This body disappears. A new world appearance in the dream. A new body appears in the dream. In deep sleep, what happens? This body also disappears. The whole world also disappears. This body is born at a period in time, then it is gone. Now, my parents were there, they are not there. Now, are they there or they are not there? Yes, for some time they were an experiential reality. Now they are not there. If they were absolute reality, they should have been there now also. Therefore, this body mind sense complex, this whole jagat of names and forms is a temporary appearance, an experiential reality at a given time. But that is not the absolute truth. But this vyavaharika satyam is sufficient for us to lead our daily lives. To carry on our daily activities, this is sufficient. Therefore, though there are two things, Atma and the body mind sense complex, which is now Jagat only, we have to understand that. Atma is consciousness, and body mind sense complex is included in the Jagat names and forms. So, Atma eva satyam paramartika satyam. Jagat with this Sharira is a temporary reality, an experiential reality, which has no existence or consciousness of its own. Therefore, Anatma is mithya. What is the meaning of mithya? I cannot take it into consideration. Like in Kannada, we have a very good term for that. When we take small children into play, they are there in the game, but they are not counted for anything. We say Atakuntu lekka killa. They are there in the game, but they are not considered seriously, as a part of nothing applies to them, no rules apply to them. So like that, this whole jagat of names and forms and this body mind sense complexes, therefore vyavahara atakuntu, it is not the absolute reality. You can't count it. Lekka killa means what? You can't count it as a second reality. Therefore, what is reality? Only one, that is Atma. And that is what is going to be talked about now in the next few verses. I've taken a long time to talk about this because Satyam and Mithya are very important to understand. This is what is the crux of the teaching of Advaita. Advaita means what? Ekameva Advitiya Atma. All the multiplicity that we see, all the multiples that we see, all the Dvaita that we see is not a parallel reality. It is only a lower order of reality. Therefore, it is called Vyavaharika Satyam. And who am I? I am the absolute reality, Paramarthika Satyam. So now, the nature of Anatma as Mithya is being described in the next few verses. So, whatever we forget, we should not forget, or we should have no confusion regarding Satyam and Mithya. Because a student or a Shishya who was attending Vedanta classes for some 20 odd years asked this question to his guru. Swamiji, I've been attending these classes for so many years. I have only one doubt. I have understood everything else. I have only one doubt. Yes, what is that? What is Satyam and what is Mithya? Now, if we have not understood Satyam and Mithya, then we have not understood anything else. Okay, so let us read the 41st verse. Ityatma deha bhanena prapanchasyaiva satyata yathokta tarka shastrena tatah kim purusharthata. So, what have you got by separating this Deha and Atma? That's what he's asking. This Shankaracharya is asking himself as though a objectionist is asking. Okay. Atma Deha Bhedena iti Atma Deha Bhanena iti Atma Deha Bhanena. Okay. By separating and lighting up this Atma and the Jagat separately, Prapanchasyaiva Satyata. You have, you have given Satyata to the world also. Okay, you have divided many into two. That's it. Fine. But then what have you really achieved? Yathokta Tarkashastrena. Okay. It is something which is stated by logic and by science also. Tarka Shastra means there is a Shastra which is, another system of philosophy. Tarka Shastra says there are two things, there are multiple things. And ordinary Tarka also, without knowing this, I'll say, yes, there are many things. You can group them in any way you want. This whole universe, you can group it into any number of groups. Okay, you have grouped everything into one and you call it the Anatma. That's fine. The science also, modern science also says matter and consciousness matter principle, it says. Therefore, what is the difference there? Okay, then what is it that we have proved here? When you say that there is only two things, Atma and Anatma, you have given Satyata of a second reality or a second truth in that. So, what have you gained out of it? What have we got out of it? And then in the next verse, he says, in the 42nd verse, Ityatma deha bhedena dehatmatvam nivaritam idanim deha bhedasya hyasatvam sputamuchyate. So the answer, he gives the answer, iti atma deha bhedena. By doing or by dividing this whole universe, including this body, mind, sense complex, including this me, including this I, the individual, into Atma and Deha, or Atma and Anatma, what have we proved? Dehatmatvam nivaritam. So far, we have only negated the fact that I am the body. We're going step by step. So, I have not yet come to the point as to what this body is, what this Anatma is. So far, Deha Atma Bhedena, Anatma Atma Bhedena, Sthula Sharira Atma Bhedena, Sukshma Sharira Atma Bhedena. What have we come? What has happened? Dehatmatvam Nivaritam. Dehatatma means what? That I am the body. This wrong notion is removed. Okay? Then, idanim deha bhedasya hi asatvam sputamuchyate. From now onwards, I'm going to talk about the very asattvam, non existence or mithyatvam of the anatma itself. So he's making it very clear. When the objection is asked, what great thing have you done? You have just divided the whole thing into Atma and Anatma. That's all you have done. So what great Purushartha have you, or what great teaching has happened out of this? So Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, this particular exercise up till the 40th verse was meant to remove your wrong notion born out of ignorance that you are the body, that you are the Sukshma Shariram. To remove that I am Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatirikta Atma Asmi. Iti, to come to that understanding, all these verses were talked about. Now, what am I going to do? Now, I am going to give the very falsity or the mithyatvam of the Namarupa itself. The body is there, but it is mithya. It is not a second reality. The world of names and forms are there. It is not a reality. It is not absolute reality. It is a mere experiential reality, and therefore it is mithya. So from here onwards, the mithyatvam of anatma is going to be talked about. The satyatvam of atma was talked about till the 40th verse. Now there will be the mithyatvam of anatma. So let's go to the 43rd verse now. चैतन्यस्यैकरूपत्वात् भेदो युक्तो न कर्हिचित् जीवत्वं च मृषा ज्ञेयं रज्ज्वां सर्पग्रहो यथा चैतन्यस्य एकरूपत्वात् चैतन्य आत्मा चैतन्य आत्मनः ekarupatvat. This atma or this chaitanyam or consciousness being of merely of one nature, constant, unchanging nature of consciousness. There is no bheda in the atma. There is no differentiation of any type in the atma. Bhedo yukto na karhichita. There is no question of bheda or differentiation in the Atma. Then what is this body? What is this jiva? Jivatvam, individuality. I am an individual different from you. Okay, I am an individual different from an animal. I am an individual different from a plant or a tree. Yes, this knowledge is necessary for Vyavahara. We are not saying no. Advaita does not say that Anatma does not exist. No. Anatma is there and Anatma Bheda has to be seen for transaction. If I don't see that I am, my body mind is different from yours, I cannot do any Vyavahara. If I don't see the differences in the name and form world, I can't do any Vyavahara. So temporarily, for the sake of Vyavahara, I have to accept that the Jagat has many, it's, Aneka Samyuktam. That is what makes this transaction possible. Therefore, I, the individual Jivatvam, though it is necessary for transaction, though this body mind sense complex, which we call as Jiva, because along with the reflected or the reflection of the consciousness Chidabhasa. We have discussed this many times, Atma and Jiva. What is the difference we have seen? Jivatvam cha mrishayeva. The so-called I am an individual different from you. Anatmataya, yes. Body mind taya, yes. I am different from you. I am different from Ishvara. I am different from Jagat. All the anatma bhedas are the bhedas because of which the jiva, jagat, ishvara transaction is taking place. It's all in right place. It's all in place. There's nothing wrong with it. But unfortunately, whatever is Mrisha, the individuality of me is Mrisha. Mrisha means what? Mithya. Mrisha, Jivatvamsha Mrisha Gneyam, Rajvam Sarpagraho Yatha. When there is a Raju, a rope, a common example, in the last 3.5 years, we would have talked about Raju Sarpa, I don't know how many times, several times. Correct? So when there is a rope lying in front of me, when it is fully lighted, I have no confusion. Correct? When there is no light at all, in total darkness, there is no confusion. But if there is partial light, I see something is there, but I don't know what it is. Samanya Jnanam is there, that there is something. Vishesha Jnanam is not there, that it is a rope. So I can project it to be anything. If there are three of us going, I'll say it is a snake. Somebody else will say it is something else. Therefore, Rajvam Sarpa Graho Yatha, just like in a dim light, we mistake a rope for a snake. Similarly, in my ajnanam about myself, I mistake myself to be an individual body, mind, sense complex, different from everything else. Now, Atma Aham, I know I am. Nobody has to tell me. So I am not totally ignorant of the Atma. I am experiencing this Atma. I am aware of this Atma. There's no question of Atma being absent. I know. I am. I know. Samanya Jnanam is there. I am iti Jnanam is there. Samanya Jnanam. But what is that I? Who am I? Who is that I? The Vishesha Jnanam is not there. It is like looking at a rope in semi darkness, where the knowledge is half hearted. You are not seeing it clearly, and you are not totally unaware of it also. I don't know what I am, but I am aware I am. In this state, I project myself to be anything other than what I am. I consider myself to be a jiva, body, mind, sense complex, and I see myself as different from everything. So he says here, what is the reason why I'm mistaking myself to be something different, separate? Jivatvam cha mrishagneyam. May you understand that all your individuality and all your misunderstanding about yourself being the body, mind, sense complex, all your misunderstanding about the whole universe being mine and I is a total mistake. It is a mistake in such a way that you are mistaking a rope for a snake in semi darkness. Therefore, there is no second reality. If I think this is the reality, it is mrisha, it is wrong thinking, it is mithya. But because of my avidya, I know I am, but I don't know what I am. I mistake myself to be the body, mind, sense complex. Same with the world. Therefore, Raju and Sarpa, how I see, in the same way, I mistake this Anatma body for myself. We'll stop with this. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्